What is up, people? It is me, Monster58, and welcome back to another video review. Today we are going to be doing a very special review. Today we are going to be doing a review on the Soul of Chogokin GNX-103 MFS-3 or MFS Type-3 Mechagodzilla, otherwise known as Kiryu, from I believe the Godzilla x Mechagodzilla movie series. I'll put that on screen right now, which one it was. But yeah, really excited to take a look at this figure because this is a collectible that I've been looking forward to a lot ever since it was announced, because this is my favorite Mechagodzilla design of all time. I absolutely adore the design of this Mechagodzilla, always have. Even better than the MonsterVerse one, in my opinion. Just nostalgia, this is my favorite Mechagodzilla design of all time. So taking a quick look at the packaging, you can obviously see some wonderful shots of the actual, figure of Kiryu himself. Just going down here, just gonna slowly lower this. You can see all of the wonderful and immaculate packaging that Bandai went through to make this absolutely fantastic looking. Just again, wonderful product shots and everything like that. I'll flip it around on the side here. You can see more of the fantastic artwork here, and we'll just kind of do this. You can see all of this really amazing looking artwork, so really exciting there. Going here on the back, you see a bunch of different product shots of the actual figure and everything that it comes with. So it comes with a ton of stuff, has a bunch of light up features, die cast. We're going to be going over all of that today in the review. So really exciting stuff. And then finally, we'll take a look at the other side here. Probably some additional artwork as per usual. Yep, got some additional artwork right here. So really exciting stuff. Just going to again go like this. Really fantastic looking stuff. And so since we're basically done looking at the packaging, again, this is fantastic packaging, something I'm not really scared of Bandai ever ruining or anything like that. Let's take a quick look, let's take a look at the actual figure right now. Alright, and ladies and gentlemen, here we have the MFS-3 Mechagodzilla, otherwise known as Kiryu, Soul of Chogokin, opened up and out of its box, and I gotta say, guys, this is fantastic. I mean, this is completely, like, beyond anything that I would have been able to ask for when it came to a figure of Kiryu himself. There is, like, no step with this figure that has gone untouched or unlooked at and really unwarranted. This is a fantastic looking figure. And so the one thing I'd like to bring in before we even get into looking at the details of this figure is taking a quick look at this instruction booklet. So this is like their instruction booklet that they include with the Kiryu himself. And so you got the nice Japanese writing on here. You got some like concept art. You have a bunch of shots of the actual suit that was used in the movies, that they use this guy, and some more concept art over here. You keep flipping through this. I believe this is an interview with the director of the movies, of the main movie that Kiryu appeared in. He's right there in the bottom right here. This guy right here. I was looking him up. I'll put his name on screen right now. I forget his name. Absolutely more awesome product shots. Shows you everything that it comes with. All of these nice instructions here about all of this cool stuff that we'll be going over in the video. Overall, again, an absolutely fantastic figure, really cool, and this is very high quality, by the way, very high quality, little like magazine instruction booklet. So, yeah, going from here, let's take a look at the actual figure. I mean, we can't deny that this thing looks absolutely incredible. So do a little bit of a zoom here. Taking a look at the head sculpt, we'll go through the details. I mean, that head is just brilliant. Like this you can't get much better. You got a bunch of this nice painted in detail. Now, keep in mind, this is primarily going to be this silver paint. And you can see with the little lights that I have sort of for my computer, you can see that it's the finish is really well done here. Looking at the head, we'll go over this on articulation. We can see the nice molded in teeth there, very separate there. Got the nice like sort of matte black for all of this interior pieces there for the rest of the mech. Really nice stuff on the head. Really nice, well painted yellow eyeballs as well. Got a nice little head camera thing right there in the center. You can see that little painted red up there. More molded details going in through here. And then we'll just sort of scroll down, continue going down here. If you continue going down, you can see, you'll take a look at the torso area. You can see all this really nice molded in details. The finish is fantastic. I mean, this all around the detail, going around swinging here on the back, even more detail with all of these spines as well. Like, there's no stone left unturned with this figure collectible, and I can't be more happy with it. And then when you open up the chest, we'll show more of this off later, but you can see some nice molded in details here. Again, just really, really well done. And this feels heavy. Like, this feels very heavy. And then going down here to the lower bottom section, I mean, you can just see all of this fantastic looking detail here. Even more here, so like that. And then we'll pick this guy up and we'll just go here. I mean, you can see all of this really, really, really nice detail here. Looking at the feet as well, you can see all this tubing as well right here, both on both legs. You can see some more stuff up here, more tubing, more molded in details here. And then taking a look, we'll zoom out just a little bit. Taking a look at the tail here, I mean, you can see all of this, spines, molded in details here, and you can see how articulated this thing is. We'll really go over this in the articulation section, but you can really see all of the amazing details that go in here with all of this, silver paint. It just looks really good, and I'm really, really, really happy with overall how this guy looks as a whole. And so I think because we're pretty much finished more or less looking at all of the details with this guy, let's go over the articulation. Now, when we're talking about the articulation for a figure like this, keep in mind, when it comes to something like Transformers, there's going to be more of a higher, expectancy of better articulation just due to the fact that those should be they're more humanoid figures. This is a creature. This is based on a monster. And yes, this has humanoid features like the arms and the legs, but keep in mind that creatures, monsters, animals, will have different proportions. And thus, when it comes to the articulation of this guy himself, I'm not necessarily expecting some crazy 360s and all this stuff. I'm not necessarily expecting more than 90 degrees at the elbows. Because in all reality, in the movies, these guys really didn't do anything that was, super aerobic. There's a few monsters here and there that did, but I want just to preface this by saying I'm not expecting the articulation to be, insane, but I'm expecting it to be good for a creature such as this. So let's go over the articulation. So up at the head, you do have a ball joint for the head, so you do get some nice rotation there. You also get a little bit of side to side, just not an insane amount. But that's just because the armor, all of this metal armor restricts his movement a little bit. So you do have that stuff. So you do get some decent side to side. You do have as Mecha Guy Kotsu would say in his reviews, like a giggity goo right there. When it comes to the arms, you do get a full 360, and you have some nice ratchets here. You can really see and listen to those. Really, really good ratchets there. Then you can go out that far. You can go in. You have a little more than 90 degrees at the elbow, so about that much at the elbow. And then the wrists are on ball joints, so you do get a full you get the round motions that you expect. You can go up, you can go down about that much. You can do a full 360, really, really nice articulation there. For an ab crunch, you get a little bit, not too much, but you do get somewhat of an ab crunch, both forward as well, forward that much as well as about back that much. Don't really want to force this because obviously this is a very expensive figure. Other than that, going to the waist, you do get a teeny bit. It's not a ton, but you do get a teeny bit of waist articulation. A little bit from side to side. And the legs here, you do get some kick forward about that far. You do get a kick backward about that, but the tail kind of runs into it. You gotta move that out of the way. You get a kick like that, and then you do get a bend about like that. And then when it comes to this, you do get a little bit of ankle rocker, but not all that much. For a figure that is based on a mechanical version of Mechagodzilla, obviously Mechagodzilla, this is pretty good articulation. Not groundbreaking, but really solid, and I actually really enjoy the articulation up in this section. So, as we sort of showed, what the next section we're going to go over, I'd like to show is you have moving parts here. So you do have these tubes that do go along with the figure. And I worry for this in the future, but if you're not going to do this a ton, then I wouldn't worry too much. But just be wary that this tube does move along with the leg articulation. Very similar to how it is with the SH Monster Arts Mechagodzilla from the Monsterverse as well. Very similar situation here. So just be careful. Again, this is a $360 figure, so be very, very careful with it. In addition to that, on the body, what we'll show here now are some of the like other features that this figure has just in its base like Kiryu mode, before we even get into any of the accessories. So getting into the features here of the actual body, let's start off with that. So going up here, as we said, you can actually open up this chest plate. And when it comes to this chest plate, this will light up, and in addition to that, the head also lights up. Now, I'll end up showing this later, just due to the fact that there are accessories that go with the head, which is why I'm doing the chest first. But to do the chest, it's very simple. What I like to do is, you see these little sections here, you just grab hold of these on either side, just hold the figure, and just slowly pull it out. Very, very simple, and the whole chest unit comes out in and of itself. And then you can see, again, very well done. You just got to put some batteries in here, and then the last thing you have to do is this switches up, and now it's on. So what does this actually do? So what we're going to do is, I'm actually probably going to try to see. I think this will look fine the way it is, because this is really cool. So when you open up the chest, we're going to take a little pair of tweezers that I got here next to me. So you see these two molded in detail sections here and here. This is solid. This doesn't move. This one does. So we'll kind of zoom in a little bit here so you guys can see this. You push this in, and this happens. And that's really freaking cool. And as you can see on my camera, it's bright, and we can look at it from the other side here. I'll do it again. You push this in. And what this is supposed to represent, for those of you who do not know, this is his absolute zero cannon. This is Kiryu's absolute zero cannon. Now, part of the movie's whole crux is the idea that they built this mech around the skeleton of the original Godzilla before he fights the Godzilla that I'm going to actually compare this guy to. And so when it comes to that, the major thing when it comes to this canon is that this is what's supposed to represent. It doesn't have an effect part like the SH Monster Arts one does, but at the end of the day, it's really freaking cool and really freaking awesome. So closing that up, some other features, there's only one other one I'd like to show off before we actually get into some comparisons, and then we'll do all of the accessories. Let's go into this last feature here. So if you sort of lift the arms out of the way, the one thing I'd like to do, you come down to the legs here. So we'll bring the camera down just a tad, like so, and then we'll do a zoom in. So coming down to the legs here, each of these panels, there's one on each side, actually do fold up. So you got to get a little bit of tweezers, especially if you don't have nails. Getting your tweezers in there is really good. And all you got to do, flip that up, and you can pull this out. And then they've got thrusters in there, and that's really cool on each side. And so you have some articulation in there with the boosters as well. So really, really freaking cool. Really, really freaking amazing. I'm really happy with how this turned out. So on both sides, this is obviously applicable on both sides. Now, getting into one last thing is the diecast. So where is the diecast on this thing? So looking at this whole figure, it's actually really hard to tell where the diecast is on this guy. And you really actually have to feel, because if you're looking closely, when we looked in the detail section, it's actually really well painted, right? This is exceptionally well painted. And so the diecast sections we'll point out are these knee pads, these like ankle sections here, these are all diecast on both sides. These sections here as well, these whole parts here are diecast, and basically the entire, I think, let's see, that isn't diecast. The entire bottom part of the feet is diecast. So a lot of the sections here are what the diecast is, which is why this figure feels so weighty to hold. And so with that out of the way, we're going to set this guy off to the side, and we'll do some comparisons. Alright, so for the first comparison, what we're going to do is we're going to compare it to the SH Monster Arts Godzilla that this actually goes along with. That these two are supposed to match up. Now, this is one thing I want to point out. Part of my justification for buying this figure, which is a $360 figure, I just want to point this out. The reason I bought this figure is because what I'm going to show you on screen right now. If you look on Amazon, the SH Monster Arts Kiryu, MFS-3, GNX-103, that is the Kiryu is like $500 on the secondhand market. This even though it is out of scale with this SH Monster Arts Godzilla figure, is the clearly superior and better figure that will last much longer. This is just much more well made. It will be much more well made because the budget for something like this is a lot smaller than for something like a Soul of Chogokin. But we have to understand here that when it comes to that figure, I am not willing to justify paying way overpriced for a figure that is clearly inferior to something like this. Even though I tend to be a person who is obsessed with making sure that all of my characters and their figures are in scale with each other, this is not one of the cases where this is one of the cases where I'm going to be lenient with it. And so even though what you can see, this is about a 9-inch scale figure, this is more close to a 6 or 7-inch scale, there is a big difference. Arguably, Godzilla should be here. Right here, right? He should be about that big. But I am okay with this because this is going to be displayed in a different part of the shelf when it comes to my Godzilla figure display. So for the most part, I'm really okay with this, and they do look very good together. Again, the only thing is you can obviously see this Godzilla here is much smaller, but they do look very nice together. So at the end of the day, I'm okay with it. And for our final comparison today, I'm not going to be doing too many today, but for our final comparison, because I have him on hand, and we are going to be doing a review on this guy very soon, here is the Soul of Chogokin Kiryu next to the Studio Series 86 Leader Class Dinobot Snarl. Again, this isn't actually how they'd scale. Snarl would be like this, probably, to actual Kiryu. Maybe like this, I'd guess. But for the most part, this is, this is neat to see. Nice to see that the leader class scales for the Transformers are getting bigger, but obviously this guy is a much more robust and much more well done figure, just due to the fact of the quality that this is made with. So, still, just wanted to give you guys a comparison for scale here. And with all of that out of the way, we looked at the detail, we looked at the articulation, did some comparisons, and now let's take a look at all of the accessories that this figure comes with, because oh boy, this guy comes with a lot. Alright, and with Kiryu out of the way, let's take a look at everything that he comes with. And this is the major stuff. I will bring in the other thing, the display stand that he comes with very soon. But let's take a look at all the small things first. So, taking a look at this, first off, for the stand, you do come with this display adapter. Now, this is not for plugging into Kiryu. Funnily enough, this is for actually plugging into this big back unit here. Now, this is very nicely made. You got some nice silver painted here. You got some nice darker gray plastics here and here. The blue is also very nice. Got some more molded in painted plastics here for these sections as well. And you have some nice just areas of detail. I mean, you can see some pretty nice molded detail on the entire thing. Overall, I'm really happy with this thing. This thing is articulated. The only thing that really moves are these sections. These just fold down, both of them, about like that much, so that when this thing is on the shoulders, it will just fold down like so, and there's no other, it doesn't really go all that much farther or anything like that. Also, for this to attach, essentially what you have to do is this will just plug in here to this little tab here. So if you see that, sorry about that, I need to redo that. If you see this section here, this little hole will plug in, a tab will plug into this hole, and then you can use this on the stand, and we'll show that off in a minute here. But also, this in and of itself is an adapter, so this allows you to plug in the actual stand part. There's nothing too much about it, just dark gray plastic. Now these are the tabs that allow you to actually plug it in onto Kiryu's back, and we'll show that off here in a little bit. So getting this, set both of these off to the side here. Another thing that this comes with are these two Gatling guns. So these two Gatling guns are pretty nice. You come with 2 of these each. They all plug into the arms using these. So basically, I'll show these off. Basically taking a look at one in and of itself. Very nicely molded detail. Again, nice silver for these little parts here. And then you have this little part which you can remove. Now this little part that can be removed, this little bit right here, essentially this part is what plugs onto the arm, this little section here. And then what's also really cool about these things is that they also can go back and forth like so. Just pull them out, pull them back in. Very cool on that part as well. Then he comes with these, which are also sort of work with each of those Gatling guns. These are the blades that come with it, and these were used in the movie to obviously like stab Godzilla and stuff like that. And what you can do with these is with each of these, so you have this, all you gotta do is take this section and plug this in here. Plug this into the center, like so, and you have a very nice bladed weapon here. And again, this is also nicely molded in detail. You can see with my finger there, very nicely painted, very nice molded in detail and stuff like that. So we'll take a look at that later as well on him. Then you have this extra chest piece that displays when Kiryu got absolutely wrecked by Godzilla in the movie, and this is the ripped up chest piece. In addition to that, here is the ripped off arm as well. You get an extra one of these. Very easy to attach and detach this arm, as we'll show in a few minutes. And then you do have these as well, which connect to the Gatling guns. These are both just bendy wires. You can see just excuse me, bendy wires, and then they plug in via this as well as this, and we'll show those off in a second here. You also do get this little piece here, which also plugs in. This is also part of his like broken chest piece area, and so this is really cool. And so, in a second here, we'll actually get in Kiryu. The last part to take a look at is this little piece here. Now, this is actually just to help remove batteries and stuff like that. This can also be doubled to be used to actually like do some of his like accessories, like getting that like features, like getting that those thrusters out of his legs, just to display those the way you want them to. But yeah, this little tool is actually pretty helpful. This is mainly used for getting the batteries out and then replacing them. Very, very nice stuff there. So, right in the second here, we'll basically cut to Kiryu, and then we'll show off all of the accessories and how they go on him. Alright, now let's take a look at this guy and see how all of those awesome accessories actually go on this guy. So, first things first, we'll show off how this little device works to actually get the batteries in and out of him. The major thing that I'll just point out is, as you saw with the chest piece, when you remove this, basically all you have to do is unscrew this, and then you just use this to essentially pick out the batteries. Now for the head, this is a bit different. So, the head is actually pretty easily removable. So, zooming in here, taking a look at the head, when you remove the head, so removing the head here reveals this little bit here. So you just basically will unscrew this, and you can actually see the batteries. I'll actually point that out. You can actually see it sort of right there. Right there, you can see the silver part like right there. That is where the batteries are. So you unscrew this, use this to pick the batteries out, and then you would actually put those and replace those when this thing doesn't have its eye units. So putting this back on, the way you put this back on is basically you see these two little tube sections here, and then you come up to the head here, like the neck area. Kiryu has two little sections on both sides there, and you can see it there. And then what you got to do is sort of line them up when you plug this guy, the head back in. So just line this up. You can actually just really line this up before you even put the head back on. Line that side up. Line that side back up. And then you can just probably... There we go. Sorry about that, guys. That was the hardest time I've ever had putting the head back on, but we're good. I got everything lined up. Just takes a second. Usually isn't that hard. I don't know why it was that hard. Maybe just because I'm on camera or something. Whatever. Now, when you take a look at the head, it's actually really cool. So we'll start off from the top, and let's start off with those head accessories. So, as I showed... actually, I wasn't sure, but basically the head comes with these two replacement eyes. Now, I believe these are the ones that initially come on it. I'm not sure if I have the ones on that are the original ones, but both of these two are two different eyepieces. Now, this one is for the story in the movie. So essentially, like I mentioned earlier in the review, Godzilla, the way that they build this suit is that they build this suit around the original skeleton of the original Godzilla. And so Godzilla's spirit still inhabits this mech, and so in the movie, Godzilla's spirit actually takes over the mech, and this is why these eyes exist. This is to signify when Godzilla's in control, and then the humans don't have any control over the suit. This, I believe, is just like a startup one, so this is supposed to represent when, like, he's in the dock and he's starting up and stuff like that. I believe that these eyes are, I believe that this is what these eyes are for, and these are just the standard eyes. So to actually turn on the light up feature for this guy, just remove that, and then you can just turn those on. And then you get that, and you can see get some pretty nice light from this, and it's actually really cool, and I think that this is fantastic. If you sort of Photoshop this into the movie, it looks really good. I mean, this looks fantastic, and I'm really, really happy with how this turned out. I think it looks absolutely fantastic, and I'm really, really happy with the state of how this the light up feature turned out. Now, to remove it, just do that again. I will take a look at it with the red eyes. The red eyes look pretty good. I actually think you do get better light out of the yellow ones because they're a lighter color, but these do look pretty fantastic. And then we remove these and put on the other set of yellow eyes, and this still also looks very cool. You can actually see the difference really with the eyes. You can see like that whoops, oh, he toppled over. You can see actually the difference with those yellow eyes. You can see like the little rivets in them compared to the standard ones. But getting the standard ones back on, we'll put those on, and then we'll get back to the other accessories here. So I got the standard ones back on. He topples over again. Sorry about that, guys. Just trying to get him to stand. There we go. He should be good now. And we'll get to the other accessories. Alright, now that we have Kiryu back in his regular mode, and zoomed out again, now we'll show you how to attach the back unit. We'll just show you how to attach these, each of these two, as well as each of the blades, and then the wires that also go along with the Gatling guns as well. Just so you guys can get an idea of how to attach everything and how it looks on him, because he looks really freaking cool with it all on. So, getting this all off to the side, let's grab Kiryu first and foremost. Now, when it comes to Kiryu, the major things that do come off on this guy for you to attach this back unit really are these two sections here, these two little spines, as well as this spine here. So, taking a look at it, it's very easy to remove. Now, you can actually even remove these ones, but it's unnecessary, and you can remove the big one. Now, this one tends to be a little looser than I'd like, and also be careful when you're maneuvering things, because these are actually pretty sharp. But you can easily remove these. These are the only spines here at the bottom section you can't remove. But these ones, you can easily pull these off. Left. This one will be the right one. This one will be the center one. And these are the only three that you have to remove to actually attach this unit onto Kiryu. Now, to attach it, you first have to remove this little section here, set that off to the side, and then you take these sections here. So you have two tabs here, you have tabs here, and then you have holes here, here, and here. And then all you got to do, now this takes a little bit of doing, I'm not going to lie. I kind of screwed up on a previous take of this, but what I like to do is try and line up the two here, because this will essentially line up the one on the back. So if you line up these two tabs, it's a little tricky. Once you get them lined up, it should essentially just kind of slot into place, and you should be good. And there we have Kiryu with his back unit, and it looks really cool. Like if I compare this to like the shot in the movie, this is really freaking cool, and I'm really, really happy with how this looks. Like this looks awesome. Like it's just really, really cool. So setting the spines off to the side, let's get into attaching the Gatling guns. So to attach them, all you gotta do is remove these from each of them. So we'll remove both of those. Just remove both of those. Next thing I like to do to make my life easier is to take them. If you don't want them with the blades attached, you don't have to. But for me, I'm just going to attach each of the blades as well. So again, just slot those in like so. And we'll take the other one and we'll slot that in just like so as well. Like that. Nice. And we got these pretty much ready to go. And then the last thing to do with these, for the most part, is just to attach these. So you'll take the fatter end one, and you'll plug that into the back of the actual thing. And then you'll do the same thing here. You'll take the fatter end, not the longer end, and you'll just plug that in right there. And then what you do on Kiryu's arms, be very, very careful. I will zoom in here so you guys can take a look at it. On Kiryu's arms, you have these little pieces, just these. You can remove them. Now keep in mind, this is my fingernail. This is how big this piece is. It is very small, so do not lose these. And we'll swing them to the other side, and then you remove these. Again, they're very small. They're very small, but they do leave peg holes right there. You can see on each side of the arm. So now, getting back out to the one, we come here. Now, what I like to do first is I like to actually reattach these to the plug them into the peg holes, and then you can bend the wires, and then you can just plug these in. Now the way you plug them in, you have the holes there, the hole there, you have the sort of peg there, and then you can just sort of rest it in there. Now the wire does have some significance in how well that this will hold, so just be careful because these aren't in there extremely well. And same thing on the other side. So what I like to do, you take this section, you just plug it into the back of the arm, and then you sort of rotate it, then bend the wire around, and then just rest the Gatling gun within the within the arm. And this is gonna be some doing because the wire doesn't exactly always like to cooperate. But here you have pretty much. This one's still. But here, essentially, come on, please stay. There we go. Got it. Here, essentially, you have Kiryu in his fully armed mode, and this looks awesome. Like, there's nothing else you can say about this. Like, this looks absolutely fantastic. And so, to also get this off to the side so we can get this shot as well, here is the stand that he comes with. Now, this isn't anything super special. I'm not going to lie. It's nothing super special. But at the same time, it is really nice that they do include this. It's just in this dark gray plastic, similar to the dark gray plastic that you'll find with like this adapter, as well as like the gray parts on his on the back unit. But for this, it's very simple. It doesn't really do anything but like hold him. It says that you're really supposed to attach him into this little point right here, but there's nothing really to attach. So all I do is just usually rest him there. He kind of just sits there and it just keeps him in place. So what I like to do is you just take him and then you just do this. And then you just sort of set him there, like so. We'll just get this replugged in because this part, again, this one's not cooperating with me right now. There we go. And then you just sort of set him in there. And this looks really cool. As you can see, it looks really freaking cool. But at the end of the day, this is how I will essentially have him displayed. But I will say that this could have used a little more detail. Even though there is some nice molded in detail on the stand, overall, this isn't like the most robust stand. The whole shebang would have like the hangers and stuff around him. That would have been really cool to add here. But or this is already expensive enough, so that would have increased the price even more. But it was nice that they did include a display stand. Now, speaking of the display stand, the one thing I will show off, since we have that out here, is if we remove this back piece here, the back unit, what you can do is basically you can see it here, there are these three little tabs here, and that is where this little display adapter will plug into. So the thicker part of the bottom will plug in, and then all you got to do is, like I said earlier, you take this section, we'll plug this back into the back unit, and then all you got to do is plug this on, and then you can actually have it act like, you know, Kiryu is using this to blast Godzilla, right? So you can have this scene here, which is pretty freaking cool. So very, very happy with that. I think it looks fantastic. I'm overall happy with it. It's not the display option I'm going to go for. Obviously, I'm going to go for the display option that allows me to have Kiryu like this, right? So we'll just plug this back on like so. And we have that all finished. So we're actually going to get this off to the side for a second. So getting the stand off to the side for a second. Now what we're going to do is I'm going to show you what these pieces look like as well. So these actually look really freaking cool on him as well. So we're just going to go ahead and I'll remove all this, and then I'll see you guys in a second here. Alright, so we have removed all of the parts from Kiryu, and now we are ready to attach this broken chest piece, the ripped off arm, as well as this little piece as well right here. So to do this, let's start off by doing the arm actually. Now the arms are pretty easy to remove. This is actually how he comes boxed. So when you remove the arm, you do also have this little piece here. This is like a little rubber piece that helps to keep this the arm in place, as well, protect the inner joints and give it more give it articulation. So all you have to do is just pull the arm out, and it really isn't that hard to do. And then all you have to do is take the ripped off arm, slot this into place, and then you can just essentially, what you can see here, there is this hole right here, and then on the arm you just have these tabs here, and then you just plug it in. Doesn't take too much effort. And there you go. You have him with his absolutely ripped off, broken right arm, and that looks fantastic. Now to get the chest piece, very simple. Remove the chest, and then you take this little piece, and then this piece will slide in here, essentially. So all you got to do, remove this piece as well. So remove this from his, you just pull this and slide it out, and then all you got to do is push this and slide it in, like so. And then you have this little piece here, just push it all the way in. And then finally, take the chest piece, and you have him with his broken Kiryu in his broken state, and this looks really good. I'm really, really, really freaking happy with how this looks. This isn't going to be my preferred display option, but at the end of the day, you have a lot of options at your disposal to display this guy, and I think that that is a fantastic thing to have with a figure that is as expensive as this. Alright, so folks, we have come to the final verdict. Do I recommend this guy, and also what would I give this guy out of a 10? I wholeheartedly do recommend this guy. It's just make sure that you do have the budget to do so. This is an expensive figure. This is almost $400. Now, do I think he's worth that money? I do absolutely think he is worth the money because of the paint, the accessories, the diecast that comes with him. I do think that Kiryu is worth the money. However, again, be wary of your budget and stuff like that because this is, again, a very expensive figure. And also, the reason I also recommend this figure is just due to the fact that if you do not have the SH Monster Arts Kiryu, then you will be shelling out way more money for that figure if you want it rather than picking up this guy, which is effectively like 150, 100 bucks less than that figure, especially on the secondhand market. So I really do think that this is a fantastic figure. Great paint, great accessories, good articulation for being a mech. And awesome light up features that are really, really prominent. So overall, I'd have to give this figure personally, it's going to be between a 9.5 and a 10 out of 10. I think that this is almost nearly a perfect figure. It's fantastic. I know I might be biased because it's my favorite Mechagodzilla design, but I don't really care. It's my favorite design. I will be biased because I love this thing. But at the end of the day, if you do want to pick this up for your own collection, I will leave links to a Big Bad Toy Store as well as I believe Amazon has this. If any other retailers pop up, I will also leave links to them in the description below. But I picked mine up at the Big Bad Toy Store, and I was able to get this guy for around $360 or so. I'm going to be transparent with that. So overall, really amazing figure, and I really think that this is going to be a great addition to any Godzilla collection if you do decide to pick this up. And with that, guys, I thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video. Please like, comment, rate, subscribe, share this video with your friends. Also, follow me on the socials linked in the description below. And with that, fellas, I will see you all in the next video, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Take care, guys. Peace.